Yo, 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 what's up, guys? Good morning, good morning. Let me quickly change this. All right, there we go. All right, let me go to the multi-stream quick. And I'll alert the Discord real quick. 1 second. Okay, perfect. All right, so as always, let's start with a top-down analysis. I'm going to go to the weekly chart. So the first thing I want to mark on my charts here is this weekly fair value gap. So let's go ahead and do that first. And also, let me get rid of some of these lines because we don't need these right now. All right. So the first thing here I see is this weekly fair value gap. So obviously I'm going to mark this. This is going to be a pretty strong draw on liquidity. In fact, I think this is where the market is going to head next. Could we be very bullish and not hit it just yet? Sure. But I still think there's a lot of possibility for it. Let me see here. Sorry, I'm just deleting a bunch of little lines here and RRs. Okay, so let me label this weekly fair value gap real quick. All right. So very strong PD rate in the market. So this is definitely going to be somewhere we could head. Michael, Boker Tov. Let me check. But give me a second. I'm doing a top-down analysis for the market. So number one, we have this weekly fair value gap here. So we're going to check on that. Number two, we have this order block here and this order block here on the daily chart. And we have a new week opening gap here. So really what I want to see is the market break out to either side of this daily candle. So I'm going to mark the daily high. I'll just label it in black. And then, of course, the daily low. These are going to be two important levels that we're going to keep watch for. And we have a volume imbalance here on the weekly as well that I need to mark. 1 second. Let's label this a volume imbalance. So right now, if I had to say gun to my head, I would say the market is more likely to draw down to this volume imbalance and this weekly fair value gap. We'll see which one. Hold on, guys. 1 second. And then, yeah, so that was the weekly and the daily chart. You can see those two levels that we're eyeing now. And I still think we have a likelihood of trading back down into this new week opening gap as well. So I'm looking for targets. I'm looking for sell side liquidity and this fair value gap right here. We still haven't filled the full gap. If you notice here to here, we still have quite a bit of fair value gap that needs to be filled. I'm not going to mark that so it doesn't confuse you, but that's going to be important. We also have this volume imbalance that we already traded into, so I'm going to delete this one. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'm paying attention to on the lower time or the higher and the somewhat lower time frame below the daily. Michael, are you still here? See if we can look at Google quick. For the 6 people watching, I don't know on what you guys are watching. YouTube, X. Hold on 1 second, guys. Also, do we have news today? Let me double check. Okay, so there's no red folder news today. Likely not going to be a day that I take any fund or cash account trades. Maybe funded if it's A+, but we'll see. Google, I don't know if this is the best spot to be taking a swing, to be honest. I do think we're going to have more filling of this monthly fair value gap. I think we already touched into the mean threshold. Let me check. Yeah, so we already touched into the mean threshold, so I'm not a huge fan of a Google swing here. I think we have potential for rejection in this area. If you guys want, if we pull back from here and we trade into the 160s, low one or high 160s, low 170s, you can try a swing trade targeting the high of the fair value gap or close to it, which is like the high 180s or mid 180s. I wouldn't really know where you would put your stop loss here. Probably below this volume imbalance, which means this would be about a 1.4 to 1 RR. Nothing crazy, but definitely an option if you guys are looking for a swing. But let's take a look at NQ here, because that's what we're focusing on. On the hourly time frame, I will note, guys, we have closed below all three of these bullish fair value gaps here. So that tells me that we're probably going to have some downside. Again, that correlates perfectly with us filling this hourly fair value gap and filling this weekly fair value gap. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get drawdown. We don't have really any news today at all. We have a set of perfect equal highs here. I can label them for you guys if you want. Equal highs, and then we have a bunch of equal lows below us. Like a lot. So some formed in the Asia session, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check. I think they were here. Let's see. Yeah, there's equal lows here. And then I think there's another set down here somewhere. Yeah, right here. So there's two equal lows and equal highs. So really what we want to wait for is for one to get swept. Of course, Michael. We want to wait for one to get swept, and then we'll look for the other one. That would be like the draw. I'm trying to see if there's any imbalances here either. I don't see anything amazing. We have some volume imbalances up here. We have this fair value gap here that hasn't been fully filled yet. It doesn't have to be, but nonetheless it will eventually. But right now, what it looks like what we're doing is just consolidating. After we close below this big bullish fair value gap, there's like three of them on the hourly chart, if I'm not mistaken, we said, right? 1, 2, 3. Now we're just kind of consolidating before I think we'll make an eventual move lower. So I'm going to look and see if I can get some kind of a setup to target the equal lows down here. That would be awesome to see. But again, we need to see something A+. So that would probably look like a liquidity sweep above these equal highs and then some kind of an inversion play to go lower. But so far we are rejecting. There's no inversion gap. Well, there actually is one inversion gap here. But there isn't a major liquidity sweep, so I don't love this. You can see we missed this high by a tick. We missed these equal highs. So I'm not loving this inversion. You guys can try this if you want, but I'm not going to take this personally. But it would look like if this closes below here, it would look like this, and your first target would be here. And then your second target would be the second set of lows. Again, this is not high probability in my view, but totally up to you guys what you do with your money, right? Also, there was no close below here, so this is not even an entry. Yo, who else is in the chat right now? Anyone else that I know? Okay, so I just closed out a position. I don't know if you guys heard that on the screen. I'm going to alert the community that I'm going to close that out. I'll give you a hint. It was a trade that we took on Nike. Let me see here. Okay, so again, we didn't really get the entry here, guys. This was the actual trade. You can see that we closed below the inversion there. And this is where your target, your first target should be. And I would definitely have my stop to break even here because we swept the major liquidity on the 1 minute time frame. So there's the first TP, and then the second TP will be down here. Again, I already told you guys this to me was not A plus enough to take. And especially when it closed down here, the risk reward ended up becoming much worse. Okay, so in theory, guys, that was your first TP. Your stop loss should be right here. So hopefully this continues down without stopping you out. But if it does stop you out, just be content with taking half your profits. And then hold the runner all the way down to the second set of equal lows down here. Okay, sorry, I'm just alerting the community about a trade we're closing here. Okay. Okay, so first TP was hit. Again, your stop should be to break even here. And if you are holding this, you should be holding it down to the runner, which is the second set of equal lows here. Again, the trade was a close below the inversion. That's your entry right there on this candle when we closed below the inversion fair value gap. And your target would be the second set of equal lows. Again, they come from all the way back here. There's one set right here and one set right here. They're perfectly equal. Anybody in this trade? Also, make sure you guys like the stream if you're in here. It helps the algos. Okay, so it looks like we're probably going to get stopped out on the runners here. Again, we have a little volume imbalance right there that I think we'll probably trade back up into. But again, the beauty of this trade is that you have your stop to break even. So even if it hits, it's a free trade. You just let it play out. Okay, so the only thing I would allow for here if I was in this trade was a quick touch into the volume imbalance to then go lower. If that. If it starts going above the volume imbalance, I wouldn't be as fond of the trade, but hopefully it just rejects here and we continue lower. If you guys want a partial too, if we sweep this low, that's another opportunity to take more partials if you want. Nobody's in this trade, huh? I told you guys it wasn't A+, so... Okay, so there's the touch into the volume imbalance and probably a stop to break even for most of you, or a break even stop. We'll see if it goes higher than the volume imbalance. But really, if I was short here, this is what I would allow for, is just a touch into the volume imbalance, no higher than that. Okay, so nice rejection so far. Let's see if that holds. Again, unfortunately, if you were short here, you probably got stopped for break even on the second half of your position, but you should have been able to take some profits here. You can see that we tagged into the volume imbalance and immediately rejected. That was beautiful to see. Exactly what I called out. Okay, very nice there. And this should deliver us all the way down here. Okay, let's see if we get that second TP. Again, it comes from the equal lows down here. That's why that's the second draw for me. From there, I could care less what happens, but I'd love to see the market move down here. If you're in here, if you're in this trade, guys, you could also move your stops down so you lock in more profits. Really, I'd want to see this cleanly deliver down. I don't want to see this start stalling and chopping. So maybe moving your stop to this candle's high, so at least you're in profit, right? Because you entered from here. Most of you should have been stopped out on this one candle right there. But it's fine if you didn't and you held it, then you should be holding this all the way down. I'd move my stop above this candle's high now, maybe somewhere here. So at least you're booking some profits on this. And then from there, you hold it down to the equal lows. Okay, let me take a look at the rest of the market quick. Okay, poorest performer is Nike, down 3.5%. I wonder why. Looks like what's happening here is we're trading into this first buy-side liquidity and rejecting. I don't think this is the end for Nike. I just sold some covered calls on this at this buy-side liquidity. So what I think is probably going to happen here is we're going to trade down into these imbalances, maybe come down into this gap, and then we'll go higher from there. But do not be surprised if we see some down moves from Nike before going up. Oh, Amazon's down 1%. This is something I may consider buying very shortly for a swing trade up. I want to see Amazon hit this 227 level. And where is that coming from? It is a weekly fair value gap. So if you look at Amazon on the weekly chart, you can see this huge imbalance here. So what I'm expecting is that Amazon uses this to go higher and will basically target the high of this gap. Also, the high that formed already in the last few sessions is 224. Let me see. It's 224.29. So that's another level that we'd be aiming for. But if we can get some more drawdown here, maybe we come back and fill this volume imbalance on Nike, or on Amazon, sorry. I will add an alert here because I think this is a good spot. If you guys want to add alerts, go ahead and do this now. But I think that Amazon should come down and fill this. If it does, that's a good spot to go long, in my opinion, for a swing trade. But to be fair, we have more of a gap here that you could use to target, and then we have more of a gap here. So if you want a better risk to reward, you'd look for this gap or this gap. So that's that one. What else is going to be pretty good? AMD back up on the day. ASML, another one that I think is going to go much higher here. If you guys want to start adding ASML in this gap, I think that's a good spot. If we end up getting back down to the 724 level, that's another spot. But I think what we're seeing here is a breakout. The retail bull flag, and then this should be used to continue higher here to the 850s, and then hopefully higher eventually. We have this massive gap on ASML that formed in July of 2024. This is a huge target for me, so I'm actually going to be adding to my position on ASML until this ultimately hits. That's my main target, which would be at 979. So basically the 1,000 level on ASML is what I'm looking for. Okay, and of course, NQ consolidating after sweeping the first set of equal lows. I don't really want to see this consolidate here. I'd rather see it cleanly deliver down. If you're not stopped to break even here, you definitely should be. If this starts making a high above this candle and this volume imbalance, then we're probably going to go higher up. So I would be super careful with this. Da-na-na. Yeah, I really want to see this delivered now. I don't want to see this start stalling. Okay, so I need to see the equal lows get swept now. Okay, so this is not what you want to see if you're in this in this short. Again, your stop should have been really at this candle's high, but if you really want to keep your stop higher, then keep it above this candle's body. So right here. And then allow that to be the high that gets kept before going lower. And again, the reason that I'm looking for shorts here is because this low is a magnet for price. What is it? Again, it's perfect equal lows here. You can see the body of this candle and the wick of this candle. They form perfect equal lows. Those are a magnet for price. We also have a volume imbalance right below it and a fair value gap here. So that is why my draw is lower. And I would expect this to deliver cleanly. We just passed the first macro time of the day, which was from 9:50 to 10:10, or the first macro time of the New York session. But I want to see this be the driver to take us down to that low. So now we patiently wait. If the take profit hits, congrats to those of you guys who took this. Again, I didn't love the RR on this, but you can see it cleanly delivered to TP1. You should have been stopped for break even on the second half of the position here, but if you were smart, you probably would have moved your stop above the volume imbalance, right? We had a little gap here. That was the volume imbalance, so maybe somewhere here, and I would just hold the runners if I was still short. But my stop loss now on this would be above this candle's body, because you don't want to see the market start making higher highs. You want to see it continue to make lower highs to target the equal lows. Also, another play that I've been talking about for a while, guys, is Riot. Up 2.77% on the day. This is one that I was looking for a pullback on. You can see, I'm going to delete these lines so that it doesn't confuse anybody. Whoops. You can see that we closed above this daily fair value gap. I want to see the market push all the way down and fill it. So maybe we can get back down to the 1060 range, and then I want to see it be used to go higher. So if we just push here, fine. We've already tagged into it once, but I think this is going to drive through all of this low resistance liquidity on the daily chart. So my next targets are going to be 1587, 18, 2068, and then ultimately 2370. And then the final TP on this is the monthly, I believe it's a monthly fair value gap. Let me double check. Yeah, so there's an imbalance on the monthly right up here. That is going to be my final draw. 2463 is where I'd expect Riot to go. So it's doing nicely today, pushing almost 3%. I did sell some covered calls on Riot, full transparency. They're still up $2 per contract, but worst case, if we get a big push early into this week, then I will have to sell my position at 13, but that's okay. Okay, so definitely would be out of this position here, guys. Or have your stop at the candle's body. You don't want to see the market push higher than this if you're still short. So I'd want to see this be used as resistance to go lower. This is the ultimate target. They could do something where they take it above this high right here. Then we get some kind of a manipulation move from that point. But this is the ultimate draw for me. The second set of equal lows. So I'd want to see one of these two scenarios play out. If we get something from here, if we trade back into this fair value gap and get another short, I'll try that. So if this is scenario A, this is scenario B. If scenario B plays out, we'll look for a short. But if not, we'll just sit out. Keep in mind though, guys, we do have equal highs above us, so wow. Excuse me. So if we can miraculously touch into midnight, that will be a pretty decent spot to continue the short. Again, touch into this, and then we want to see an inversion gap up here to target this. That would be the setup I'm looking for. SoFi up 7% on the day. I wonder why. Okay, so again, if we can get some kind of a move higher here, trade into this fair value gap, touch into midnight opening price, I think that will be a really nice short, and you can target the equal lows. This is what I'm looking for, if we get that. But again, if you're still in from the original short here, you really should have your stop loss right here at this candle's body. You don't want to see the market trade higher than this candle. So you really want to see this be the low the set of red candles that starts the next leg down. Does that make sense, guys, what I'm saying here? This was the inversion fair value gap play. And if you're still in this somehow, which again, I think you should have been stopped out here, but if you were smart and moved your stop above the volume imbalance, then this would be your stop to break even right here. So it'd still be in profit. Worst case scenario if we tap into it, but now this should be the leg that brings us, that continues the market down towards the equal lows. Make sense? All right, so hopefully, again, this is a continuation leg, and then we'll sweep the equal lows. Then maybe we get a long setup from there. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Is anybody still short this market right now? Anybody in the chat? Hello, hello. There's 14 people watching. 6 on YouTube and whatever the difference is on X. Nobody is still short? I want to see what kind of premiums you can get for Amazon right now. Let's look at the option chain. You can sell the 215 puts on Amazon for $70 right now. It's pretty good for expiring in 3 days. I'm going to look to see what Amazon premiums are paying if we can sweep these equal lows. Then I'll probably take an order to collect some quick premium over the next 3 days. I'll alert the Discord too. Okay. Okay, so we are forming kind of like trend line liquidity here. I'd rather see this completely dump through all of this. So if we end up popping through all of this and trading into this fair value gap, obviously the trade will be over. But really what I would do here, honestly, guys, I would move my stop above this order block that just formed. So I don't want to see the market trade back above these two red candles highs because that tells me that market structure might change. I want to see this keep making lower highs and end up sweeping the equal lows. So right now, if I was in this trade, my stop loss would be right here at this green candle's body. Or like right above the wick, even if you want. But you want to see this deliver now. We've already swept this low again. In fact, I would even move my stop lower. So like down to 22,875. Because I'd want to see this hold. I want to see this red candle completely hold and drive us all the way down to the equal lows. Okay, beautiful. This red candle really should hold here. And the target, again, is that final set of equal lows. Beautiful, right there. Okay, so now we might even get a long setup here. Hopefully we do. So this is one I'm looking at here. If we can inverse this and this gap here, this is a nice long setup. And then I would pretty much target midnight opening price. So if we can get a closure above this, guys, I'm going to target midnight. This is going to be almost a 3-to-1 RR trade. So in theory, you could have entered long here and then moved your stop to break even when this fair value gap got touched, but I would never do that. I'm looking for the closure above. If we can close above this, that'll be a nice long setup, in my opinion. I'm going to try this small size, but I think it's nonetheless a good trade. We got just under a minute till this candle closure. Yeah, I like this a lot. Because we've swept sell side liquidity. We traded into a bullish fair value gap on the 1-minute chart. We have equal highs as a target above. Too many confluences here. Unfortunately, we're not in a macro time, so that is not the best sign, but nonetheless, I still think this is pretty decent. So this will probably be my one trade of the day. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's see if we get this, guys. 30 seconds till the candle closure, so let's see if we can get a push up here. So we've swept liquidity to the downside once here with this red candle, and now we're about to close above. This is basically the YouTube short I make all the time. Now remember, liquidity sweep, equal lows, liquidity sweep here, inversion fair value gap. If this starts rejecting here, obviously then we're not going to be able to take a short, but if we get the closure above, that's the sign to go long. This will be your stop to break even or your first partial if you want. I'm going to hold this because I think if this is going to hit, then we're going to go up and trade into this and this 1 minute gap. Okay, just under 30 seconds. See if we get the candle close. Okay, no close above there. If this starts pushing randomly here, I'm going to enter this long. So like if we get a big green candle here, I'm going to enter like right over here. Okay, I'm in this early. And then again, my TP is going to be this fair value gap. So, hold on 1 second. This is going to be my TP. And then stop loss will be obviously a 1 minute close back below. But beautiful so far. I'm in this early because I think this is just going to push. Then our stop to break even is going to be this high, obviously. And then we'll just wait and see if we can get our full TP. This is one of those situations where I think they're just going to drive the market higher here without giving anyone a great entry. So nice so far. If you want to take profits at this high, you can. I'm not going to. I'm holding all the way up to the 1 minute fair value gap. Beautiful trade so far, though. We'll see if we can get a closure above this internal buy side here. This looks like the situation where they're going to deliver it super cleanly. And then again, the TP is the 1 minute fair value gap. So there is your stop to break even, guys. So I'm going to move my stop here. So this is now officially a free trade. I cannot lose on this trade. Beautiful trade. Anyone take this? Guys, come on. There's 20 people watching this and there's 1 like on YouTube. Okay, beautiful so far. Again, really you should be holding to the midnight opening price, but I'm just going to hold to this 1 minute imbalance. If you guys want to book profits here, be my guest. I'm willing to risk this going low and stopping me out to go higher here. But again, it's a free trade for me, so. I want to see this drive up into this 1 minute fair value gap. You guys see how there's an imbalance in the market? That's where we should hit. Okay, very nice. Wow, just hit it. How did that not hit my TP? Huh. All right, let's go. Nice, George. Let's go. Sorry if that's really loud. Okay, beautiful trade. So I'm 1 and done. Nothing else needs to be taken today. I still think this will go higher and touch the equal highs as well, but that's it. What I would suggest you guys start learning is learn how to take the low-hanging fruit. Okay, this was an obvious imbalance to me in the market on the 1 minute, so I knew that we were very likely to drive up. Even if we didn't close above the 1 minute, if we got a big bullish candle here, that was the driver to go higher. This is what I teach on every single one of my YouTube shorts. If you go back and look at any of my YouTube shorts, I look for a liquidity sweep, the equal lows, plus an internal liquidity sweep, plus a fair value gap that inverses, plus a major target. So what I think will happen now, of course George, of course Maggie, guys, make sure you like the stream, comment something, it helps the algos. But the reason I love that trade, and I guess we can put the executions on the screen so you can see it, but we had a very obvious imbalance. Now, I don't care what happens from here. If I had 2 contracts, I would have taken one off here in this fair value gap, and I would have held the runner to the equal highs. But because I had 1 contract, then I'm not going to be doing that. Thanks, Glenn. Wait, is this Glenny? Like Glenny from X, or no? If this would have closed above, if this would have closed above, I would have taken this with 2 contracts. But because it didn't, and I was front running, I took it with half size. So there's the first TP, which was midnight opening price, and then I would look for the equal highs here. Nah, not from X, but I see you like once every 2 weeks when I see you on my algo. Nice, bro. Yeah, that was a beautiful trade and so cleanly delivered. Yeah, I need to start streaming more on YouTube, but I have to be fair to the people in the community that pay for it. So I stream with them most of the time on the good days, and then days like today where I actually didn't expect price action to be that good, it ended up being great. But you can see the execution. I said if you rewind the tape, you can see what I said. If we had a big bullish green candle here before the closure above, I would front run this. I entered here, stopped to break even, first TP, and then obviously the equal highs are the second TP. If you guys really want a long here, I still think this is a good trade and the equal high should hit, but I'm not going to be touching it. I will be honest, there is a very major level here at 22.93475. So 22.93475. So right here we could see a little bit of stalling right here, but you can definitely partial, and at this candle's wick is another place to partial before the equal highs in case we get some kind of manipulation first. Wow, so I just sold puts on Amazon. I alerted my community, and we're already up 30% on these. I sold literally here on this candle. Right as the equal low swept on NQ. Hold on. Right as the equal low swept on NQ. Wait, can you guys see my other screen? Yeah, you can. Right as the equal low swept on NQ, I sold puts on Amazon, and we're already up 30% on these. Beautiful. And now that this is closed above, again, we are now breaking above an internal high here. This should be what delivers us up. Again, I would be cautious longing here. You should have longed down here. This was technically the entry right there. But yeah, the next draw on liquidity should be these equal highs. For Maggie, Michael, George, and Glenn, you guys all trade NQ? Okay, let me alert the community. I'm already up on these. Nice. How long have you guys been trading futures for? Also, who's your favorite YouTube streamer? I'm curious to know. Of all the people you watch on live, who is your favorite? And don't say me if just to appease. I'm actually curious who you guys watch most consistently and why you love them so much. Okay, so the closure again, I told you guys this is probably going to be what delivers us up here. I would be partialing in this wick just in case we get rejection, but it looks like the equal highs are coming now. The low-hanging fruit was this 1 minute imbalance, but you can see that it's cleanly delivering past all of it. I watch Rocket Scooter. I'll take a look at that guy. I've never heard of him before. George says just when you're on YouTube. Oh, okay. Rocket Scooter Trading. Let me take a look at this guy. Is he an ICT trader, Glenn? Or what kind of trading does he do? Or day trading with Matt? I think I've heard of day trading with Matt. Wait, it looks like the same person when I typed it in. is his indicator or something. How to use a rocket scooter, his platform. But such a beautiful trade here. What I'd want to see now. Hold on one second, guys. I'd really want to see clean delivery here. You don't want to see the market stall. I will note we do have an obvious bullish 1 minute fair value gap here. This should be used to deliver higher. Yeah, same dude. Yeah. So if you really want to take a scalp, I mean, I personally wouldn't. Again, I want you guys to practice good risk management. But this, honestly, these equal highs should just be the start. This should go much higher in my opinion. We have a ton of equal highs above us. You need to update your indicators. We have equal highs at 23,036. Where is that? 23,000. So we have equal highs right over here. I don't know if it's going to go today, but this looks like the potential start of a bullish breaker. So again, with the 1 minute fair value gap should be used to go higher. If we can trade back down into this, again, this is a quick scalp you can try. And I would target above the equal highs. Like I would target, I think this is an imbalance here. Yeah, there's a 1 minute imbalance here. If you guys look at the London session, we have a pretty strong magnet for price there. So if we can come back and trade into this, this is a scalp you can try. Again, not A+, because the A+ setup was what I took down here. Exactly what I teach every single day on YouTube, on my YouTube Shorts, on X. Let me post this on X real quick, though. Shoot. Okay, so not a good sign there that we close below this 1 minute gap. That tells me we'll probably have a little bit of a more manipulation before going higher. If we can close above this 1 minute inversion, if it holds, then that's going to be another entry. So your entry would be there, and then your take profit would be the equal highs. But I would be careful here. We're trading back into this set of down close candles, so there's an order block here. So this technically is another entry again, but you really want to see this inversion close above. Let's see if it even holds as an inversion. Okay, so it did. So if we get another candle closure above this bearish candle, so if you see a green candle close above this, then that's going to be your next entry. And then your TP would be the equal highs and the 1 minute imbalance above us from the London session right over here. For those of you guys on X, you can see it right there. So again, we're trading into this this set of down close candles, which is an order block. You want to see a green candle push above this 1 minute gap to go higher. And then once we do tag these equal highs and this 1 minute imbalance, I'll get off the screens most likely, and I'll call anything else in the Discord. But beautiful trade so far. Wow, big dip there. Wow, I didn't even see that. Well, thank goodness that we took some profits before the equal highs. I still think this is going to end up pumping through this. It's just doing the thing where it makes it difficult for people, trying to stop people out who went long. But we're trading into all these down close candles. This is an order block to me. I think if you really want to take a long somewhere in here, this is not a bad spot. But again, much higher risk than when we entered. Is anyone still in this trade? Holding up to the equal highs, or did you all book your profits in this 1 minute gap in the wick like I said to do? So I think this is probably a manipulation wick to try and stop people out, and then this will drive us higher here. Okay, so now you just wait patiently, guys. If you're still in this trade, holding up to the equal highs, I think you should be. But again, this wick here, I think, was A, to touch into this volume imbalance, which we didn't get. So maybe we get one more down move into here. That's what my final line in the sand would be. If they really want to be tough today, they'll move the market one more time below this wick, tap into this 1 minute gap, and then go higher later. If they really want to be cruel, they'll do that. Okay, so just waiting to see if we tag into this. Again, pay attention to this Wix low and then this volume imbalance. If we can tag into this, I think that's going to be a good long. It might even do it beforehand. If they want to be cruel, again, this is the draw and then that volume imbalance. Okay, so another rejection there. Yeah, I think this is going to go back down to this wick, guys. So anyone who tried to long this and has their stop below this is going to get stopped out, and then they'll probably deliver it after sweeping that Wix low. Okay, so pay attention right here what happens. If this ends up completely stopping through this, then obviously that's not a good sign. But if we get another move higher here, I think that will be what delivers us up to the equal highs. We will see, though. Sheesh. Huge dump there. Okay, so obviously not a good sign if you're long. Again, thank God we took our profits where we did. Now, basically your final hope is that this creates another inversion and we close back above it to target the equal highs. Okay, so here's that next 1 minute imbalance. If we can close above this, I think that's going to be what drives us back up here. Big manipulation candle though there, so I will definitely be cautious here. I don't think, I mean, based on what I'm seeing here, I do not think we're going to get an inversion candle back up. I think we'll probably end up driving lower towards, again, the weekly and volume, the weekly fair value gap and the hourly imbalance here. But we will see. Just so it doesn't confuse you guys when I go to the higher time frames. Wow, Tesla slowly climbing back up. Did you guys see that Tesla's back to 301? Very interesting. Hit almost 305 earlier, touching into this imbalance, this gap here. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of what I'm seeing with the market right now. As far as upside is concerned, if we want continuation today, we really need to see a change in structure here, a close above these imbalances to go higher. But yeah, this is not a good sign. If you're long here, you want to see both of these order blocks hold. But again, my thinking here is that we need some pullback in the market. So going back into this imbalance is probably likely, and then maybe we use that to go higher. That's my thinking right now. I think we'll easily touch into this imbalance now. So if you guys want to scalp up into this fair value gap, you can. And boom, there it is. And then again, from here, if we can close above both of these, then you'll probably see the market recover and go back to the equal highs. But we'll see what happens. Okay, nice recovery there. Good to see. Okay, so maybe this is where we get the long, guys. Again, I'm not taking another trade. I'll take this on paper if you guys want. But if we can close back above this, then this is another setup. Bigger stop this time, but the equal highs are the target. Also, heads up, this did just create perfect equal lows. So I'm not a huge fan of that, I will be honest. So if you look here on NQ, we did just form perfect equal lows right there. Where's this? Right there we form perfect equal lows. Just a heads up for those of you guys who are looking to long this. Not a huge fan that those just formed. Whoops. I need a mint. Bro, what the hell just happened? Okay, so no closure above that secondary fair value gap. You can see we have two fair value gaps in this leg. Closure above this one, but not the secondary one. So just keep that in mind. Also, we have a 2-minute fair value gap that did close above, so that's a good sign. But we have a secondary 2-minute here. Also a 3-minute fair value gap that didn't close above yet. So lots of different things in play. Okay, so looking nice so far though, I will be honest. The 2-minute has closed above. The 3-minute doesn't close until 11:03, so we won't really have time to get an entry on this. But if you guys really want to take this trade, the equal highs should run. Should. But I already took my trade for the day. We have a bullish fair value gap here and here. If these close below, then this is going to sweep the equal lows. So again, I already took my win. I'm not going to be taking this again. Up to you guys what you guys decide to do. But for me, I am done. Let's see if the 3-minute closes above. So we have a bullish 3-minute gap here, which we've got just under a few seconds till it closes. Let's see if it holds. All right, so we've technically got a 3-minute close, a 2-minute close, and a 1-minute close above. So in theory, guys, this is a good trade. And again, because we just formed equal lows, I'm not a huge fan of taking this trade. I already have a win on the day. There's no need to be putting on excess risk. But in theory, this should be used to go higher. Does it make sense to you guys why I'm not taking this again? Even though it looks clean to me, there's a 3-minute fair value gap, a liquidity sweep, a macro time. The fact that we form perfect equal lows here, and the fact that I already have a win on the day. Does it make sense now that I'm not taking this trade personally? You might be in a different situation from me. Maybe you haven't taken a trade today. Maybe this looks great to you. And maybe you're willing to risk the equal lows getting swept. I am not, so I'm not going to be taking this. I think maybe I would consider this if the equal lows didn't form, but because they did, I'm definitely more cautious with this. But again, because I already have a win, there's no need for me to take on additional risk here. The stop loss is pretty big. Also, we have another 1-minute fair value gap here, which I'm not a huge fan of, so I'm not taking this personally. For all those reasons listed. Okay, what's up? Good morning, sir. No, we took this 1-minute, okay? I front run this trade, and we booked profits in this 1-minute gap. I told people that if they wanted to hold into this wick, they should, but I personally didn't hold to the equal highs, but you can see my executions. I entered here when I saw this bullish green candle, and I took my profits in this 1-minute gap. But I was telling them that I don't love this 3-minute because we have equal lows that formed, and I'm already green on the day, so there's no need for me to be taking another trade. If you guys want to, you can. I don't think it's terrible, but again, we form perfect equal lows. I'm already positive on the day. I don't want to take extra risk here. Make sense? Oh, damn, Kay. Took the same, made 66, and took the sell and took 300. Wow, you took this 1 minute. Wow, this is ballsy. So I'm guessing Kay's talking about this 1 minute inversion here. Right before the equal highs, there was a 1 minute closure down. I said I wouldn't take this, but if we got the inversion back up, I would take it long. But you can see that Kay took this short. Again, high risk because we have perfect equal highs above, but you can see that that printed nicely. And he took profits probably at sell side. 366 for the day. That's beautiful. Good job, Kay. I'm proud of that trade. I'm proud of this trade. This trade, I'm not a huge fan of, this short that you took, but hey, if you're willing to risk it, you're willing to risk it. Okay, so let's see if this ends up working. Again, I think it's good. The only reason I'm not taking this, again, is because we have perfect equal lows, and I've already been positive on the... I'm already green on the day. But, in theory, we do have a nice 3-minute inversion here. We closed above it on this candle. We have a 2-minute as well, and we have a 1-minute. Again, I don't even like this right now. That we traded up at midnight, and we're immediately rejecting. That doesn't look good to me. And now that 3-minute also looks good, but I'm done for the day. Yeah, definitely good not to take any more trades, Kay. Glad that you're done. Because the stop loss is huge. That's right. You don't want to give back all of your profits. Plus, we have so many fair value gaps in this leg. We could come down and touch into this one, then bounce. Not a huge fan of the look of this, personally, on the 1-minute chart. But if you're in this, you're basically praying that we're going to have a big pump through all of this. Honestly, my stop would be at break even already. I wouldn't even risk this. I don't want to see this consolidate. I want to see a clean move up. If I was long, which I'm not, because this is my only execution of the day. By the way, for those of you guys who are in the community, the puts that we sold on Amazon are pretty much back at break even. So if you guys want to enter that trade, you can now if you'd like. Totally up to you, obviously, but if you want to wait and get more out of the trade, you can take it later. What I'm not a huge fan on with Amazon is that we're trading. We had a huge gap down here. I need to see Amazon close above this inversion to see more upside here. But for now, this looks like it's probably going to be used as rejection to go lower. So we'll see what happens with that. Okay, I'd like to see if this is what drives us higher. We just ended the macro time, which I'm not a huge fan of, but you really want to see this pump. You don't want to see this stall here. You want to see a big green candle to sweep the equal highs. But again, look at this RR. It's not even a 1-for-1 because you really have to take into account the secondary fair value gap here. Hopefully it works for y'all's sake that are in this. So I'm just going to basically wait until I want to see what happens here after the macro time just to study it. But once the equal highs hit or we trade back down and close below this and sweep the equal lows, I'll leave the screen. This is just for studying purposes. What do you guys think? For those of you guys who are watching the stream, for all 20 of you that are watching, I don't know where. Type 1 if you think the equal highs are going to hit first. Type 2 if you think the equal lows are going to hit. Again, I am not in this trade. I don't like it. But again, totally up to you guys on what you do. The only trade I executed on today was this 1 minute inversion to target this little 1 minute imbalance right here. I was fully out of the position there for a quick 500. You can go back and watch it live if you want. Rewind the tape. You'll see my thought process here, why I liked it. Basically, what I think needs to happen here is we'll see some kind of a news candle. If it's going to deliver up to the equal highs, we'll need to see some kind of a big push. But what I really think is going to happen here, if I had to say gun to my head, I don't know. I think what's probably going to happen is it's going to come back and rebalance this and then stop people out and then maybe go up later. But they're definitely not going to make this easy. Another bullish 1 minute gap here that really needs to hold, honestly. I don't like the fact that we're closing below it already. But yeah, this is basically a 50-50 trade in my view. We already had a big move to the upside and the downside today, and then another clean delivery up. I'm guessing that we consolidate for the rest of the session, and then maybe we get a long setup later. That's my thought process here. Bro, why does this keep happening? I think I'm connected on another computer. I'll have to double check that, guys, after the stream's up. But I'm just going to stay on until either the equal highs or equal lows hit. If it really stalls, like, past through all this macro time, then I'm going to get off, but... Really, if you guys are still trading right now, I would suggest just being done. Again, we do have a 3-minute BPR here, but I'm not a huge fan of this after these equal lows are created. Honestly, okay. This is a very, I wouldn't say it's that high risk, but it's pretty high risk. I'd give this like a 7 out of 10 with risk to be involved, but you can see here that we did inverse this 1 minute, so I think this could be a pretty good trade down to this fair value gap. So if you guys are looking for a quick short scalp, that's a pretty good RR, then I would have entered right there. Again, I'm not taking this. I don't think it's A+, but if you guys really want a trade idea, then you can target either the mean threshold of the mean threshold of this 1 minute gap or this fair value gap here. Okay, so I think that this sell side is first, and then probably this fair value gap. So there was a sell side liquidity sweep. I still think this ends up going lower. I still think more of this needs to be rebalanced and then this 1 minute, but again, the entry was here on this candle. Actually, the entry was here on this candle. Right there. Targeting, again, the mean threshold of this 1 minute gap. So that would be TP1, and then TP2 would be this 1 minute gap. So that's TP1. And then TP2 would look like this. Do. Okay, beautiful so far. Again, TP1 needs to be the mean threshold of this gap. So we should hit it now. And then if you really want to hold this for longer, you would target this 1 minute fair value gap here. And then if you really want to hold all the way down, because this is definitely a possible scenario here, is we go all the way down to the equal lows that just formed. But if you're bullish, you're basically praying to see a very strong reaction from the mean threshold of this gap, which I don't think will happen, but we'll see. And beautiful so far. But again, I think that this 1 minute gap is next. You should be profiting. Partial should be taken there and there, where we just were. And then you would hold runners all the way down to the equal lows. Also, if you entered from here, where I said, or here, you should definitely have your stop to break even. Definitely have your stop to break even here, because if this is going to drive down and take your profits, it should not come back up here. So again, 1 minute fair value gap right here is one of the draws on liquidity. You can see it right there. That's why my TP2 is there, and then the third TP is the equal lows. By the way, if you guys want the indicator on your charts for this, it's called equal highs and equal lows. EQL, H, and L. It looks like this. I don't know exactly who made it, but this is the, and it automatically draws out your equal highs and lows, and you can extend the line right so you can see all the equal highs and lows. It's just a good indicator to have, just in case you missed them. Like, I definitely would not have seen these equal lows form if it weren't for that indicator. So definitely helps you with bias. So for example, this 3 minute, I would have liked it a lot more if I didn't see these equal lows, if they weren't there. So the fact that I was basically forewarned me that they were there, told me this was likely to fail as a 3 minute BPR, especially because we tapped into midnight opening price. And I said, I don't like the fact that as soon as we tapped into it, we rejected. That was not a good sign to me. So it looks like TP2 should hit now. And there it is. You can see we wicked down into it. And now pretty much all the bulls that took this 3 minute inversion are praying that this 3 minute holds. And what I think is going to happen is it's going to fail through all of this and target the equal lows. That does not mean you should be entering here, because this is the, if we're going to reverse, this is the spot it's going to happen. But I think this is going to fail through, and we're going to tap the equal lows. If Kay is still in here, or somebody else that was here earlier, props to you. I don't know if you learned that from me because the stop loss was big, or if you just in general off of screen time and practice, you guys know that wasn't a good trade. But you can see now that this is working. So props to everybody who saw the equal lows, saw how big the stop loss was, and decided not to put risk on here. And pretty much if you're a bull now, this is the final line in the sand. If this 1 minute fair value gap does not hold to the downside or hold to the upside, then this is gonna fail, and you're gonna be sad. I mean, you're probably already sad because you entered here, and you're in heavy drawdown, but yeah, this is the final line in the sand here. Very small 1 minute fair value gap inversion there. I would never take this, but it's still there, just letting you know. But I would never take this to the long side. Never. Amarjit Badhan, how often do you come on YouTube? A couple times a week. Most of my live streams I try and do in the Discord. But then on days, like the best days of the market, I trade in the community. And then the other days, like today when there's no news, I trade on YouTube. But you can see my one execution today was a nice win. At least, even though I didn't think price action would be great today, it was. So, but yeah, I think that if this fails, we're going to tag the equal lows. I think I've seen you on here before, Amarjit, if I'm not mistaken. Your name sounds familiar. Discord address. It should be linked below. You guys can see. If you want a live trade, if you want access to all my option selling, swing trading, day trading the best days, everything is in the description. Of the YouTube video. Awesome, Amarjit. Yeah, you can trade with me for free on YouTube a few times a week, and then the best days, again, I've told you guys, the best days of the week I trade in the community. So there is a link. I think we're running a 3-day trial right now, but you guys are welcome to access that if you want. There's a link in the description. Yeah, guys, make sure if you want to see alerts when I live stream on YouTube, click the subscribe and then subscribe to all notifications, and you'll see when I go live. Okay, so a failed 1 minute inversion here. I think, gun to my head, this is going to fail, and we're going to drive down to the equal lows. Again, that is not an excuse to enter here. This is a terrible spot to enter. For a short, you should have entered here when I said to do it. When I said was it was a high risk trade, I will admit, but it did work. Yeah, of course, Amarjit, if I'm pronouncing it correct. So guys, once the equal lows get swept, I'm going to get off the screen. If we see an A+ setup, I'll call it later in the community to the equal highs. But again, this is the final line in the sand for bulls. If you want to see the market drive higher here, this is the 1 minute fair value gap that it needs to happen from. If we get a liquidity sweep here and then a big push up, then that's another option to enter. But I would not be shorting here. Again, I think that's really dumb. That's what I call chasing price. So realistically, what I think is going to happen here is I'm probably going to end up staying until this macro time because I don't think the delivery to the upside or downside will happen until then. But yeah, if you were in this, guys, you should have TP1 and TP2 hit, stop to break even, which if your entry was here, it's here. If your entry was here on this candle, it's here. And yeah, just hold the trade either till break even or till full TP. So you can see on the 3-minute chart here, we traded into this 3-minute gap. Not a good sign for bulls that we're immediately rejecting from there. In fact, I think this is probably a decent short entry. But I'm not taking that, obviously. But really, this should be used as resistance to go lower now and target the equal lows. So now I'm paying attention to this 3-minute fair value gap. I want to see, if you're bearish, you want to see this used as resistance to go lower. Again, if you were in this short, your TP1 and TP2 have hit, and you're basically just hoping that your third TP will hit, and your stop should be at break even, which is either on this candle's body or this candle's body. That was one of your two entries. Let's see how the rest of the market's doing now. Tesla pushing, Bitcoin pushing. Apple is one that I longed just for a quick trade here in the low 200s. I think this still has legs to run higher. We did fill this gap on Apple and we're seeing an immediate rejection, I still think Apple has more legs higher, so like this imbalance here and then here. If you guys are looking for a long on Apple, I don't think this is a bad spot, to be honest, for a swing trade. And then you would target... this is a weekly fair value gap from before. Probably target this internal high here and then this daily volume imbalance and the 230s. If Apple does get below the 160s somehow, that's another spot I'm going to add Apple for the long term. I don't think it's going to get there, but you can see here on the daily that we're kind of flagging, not even necessarily a bull flag, but I think this will probably be what ends up driving us up above the 225s to target this daily gap here. This imbalance in the almost high 220s, low 230s. Okay, so obviously the market is holding this 3-minute still. If we close above this, it's probably going to go back up to the equal highs. If it holds this and rejects, we're probably going to go down to the equal lows. But nothing anymore is A+. We took our one setup of the day. Will that be? But nice rejection so far, so we'll see if that holds. And props to you guys if you're still watching, for the 20 people that are in here. If you took this one trade and you're done, or maybe you took this short and you're done, just be done. Props to you guys who are able to take one trade or 2 trades max for the day and not touch the market again. Alright guys, I think that's going to be it for me. This is obviously boring trading right now. We're consolidating after a big... We had a what? This was a 90-point move to the upside, and then a 100-point move to the downside, then another 100-point move, 70-point move to the upside, and now we're just consolidating in these fair value gaps. Again, if you want to try a short here, this is the spot, and targeting the equal lows. If we close above this, maybe we go to the equal highs, but everything from this point on, in my opinion, is 50-50 until one of these gets swept. So if we do get a rejection here and then a beautiful 1-minute inversion, there will probably be another long setup that forms in the afternoon session to target the equal highs. That's the only thing I would look for. If we reject here, sweep of liquidity. So if we reject from this 3-minute gap, down, sweep of the liquidity, and then get some kind of another inversion play, then I would use that to target the equal highs. But until then, I really wouldn't consider anything. If I see anything A+ after the liquidity sweep, I will call it in the community in the live alert section. I wish you guys the best. I will catch you guys in the Discord tomorrow for a live stream. And yeah, I wish you guys the best with your trading today. And yeah, catch you guys in the Discord. All right, peace.